Hey everyone, happy 2025. Welcome back to the studio. I wanted to do a little year-end recap. Just sort of some thoughts on my first year really trying very hard to work as a full-time artist. Because I am very interested in stability, I still work 4 days a week in an art store. So I'm not really doing this full time, but I just wanted to give you an overview of my year so you can kind of see the effort that I'm putting in. So if you're sort of thinking about doing this yourselves, you'll kind of know the workload and what it gets you and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely been a really exciting transition year for me. And I honestly felt a little bit like I was slacking for a lot of it. But then when I went back and kind of looked at my statistics for the year, I realized I was actually working really hard and there were a lot of really amazing things. So I really feel like this year in review exercise is actually really, really good. Not only will it help sort of keep you accountable, but it will also show you what you've actually managed to accomplish. And then when I do it next year, I will have this year's to refer back to see if I've actually had business progress. So I think it's probably a pretty good little activity. My studio is mostly cleared out. I've had a lot of really good sales, so I've got some works in progress here. Yeah, so let's just dive in. I'm gonna share my screen because I did a cute little graphic. Just a minute. Okay, so here's my little graphic. These are some digital paintings that I did a couple years ago, and I just never got around to them. So I finally started them this year. But yeah, so this is basically just my little year in review. So first of all, I wanted to sort of get my business going really quickly, and I got really stressed, and I tried to kind of accidentally make connections too early, and then I didn't have the stock to sort of give to these people. So basically what happened was I reached out to a business community and I just asked if there were cafes in the area that anyone knew about that were hanging paintings like in their local area. And a whole bunch of people actually had places and wanted me to hang things. I just didn't have enough done. So because I have a permanent show at this place called The Tipper, a lot of my works are sort of stuck there. I sell them there. It's great. It's been amazing having them there, but I do have a large body of work already sort of located in that location. So basically a lot of people wanted artwork and then I didn't have any, so it's been many months and they've got nothing. So I would say if you're planning on doing this, maybe don't sort of jump into finding places to put your work until you have a very good sort of stock at home so that when you get shows you have enough to hang. I just worry about sort of burning bridges and not delivering on things. So that was just a lesson for me. I didn't actually realize that there was going to be that much interest in my work, which is sort of what happened. So first things, I did 50 paintings. I maybe missed a couple. So I just basically, I've not been very good at kind of keeping track as I go. I need to start making documents because now that I'm doing so many, I really need to sort of keep track of all the paintings that I've done and then where are they and whether or not they're sold, et cetera, if they're in different locations, because as you start having pieces in more locations, you have to keep track of where things are. So that's going to start being a focus next year, is to really keep track of how many paintings I'm doing, how many are done, how many are in progress, and where they are located and their status, if they're sold or not. So I did 50 paintings, which is amazing considering I've been working 4 days a week. And then out of those paintings, 22 sold. Not all of them sold. I sold some old pieces that were done the previous year that were hanging. Most of my sales have come from Etsy and locally. So I was in the Tipper. I sold most of them out of the Tipper, I would say. And then I also had a little show at Commercial Street Cafe, and I sold actually the top piece in this image. I sold that one. It wasn't even up a week, so that was great. And that's a nice little arbutus tree if you don't know the West Coast. So yeah, I did 50 paintings, approximately 22 paintings sold. I've actually sold another 5 pieces in January, which is amazing. It's not in these numbers, obviously, but yeah, so I did sell another 5 of those. Out of this 50, some of them were not even for sale. There were 4 of them that were gifts, and then there were like 6 of them, I think, that were for my portfolio. They were just portrait paintings in watercolor that I could put on Etsy to try to get some commissions for selling watercolor portraits, and that worked really well. So Out of the 50, not all were for sale, but I did manage to sell 22 paintings. So out of those sales, 10 of them were commissions across 3 countries. So the landscapes here in the pup that you see, this is cropped, but you get the idea. They were all commission works. And I did some other commissions that came through Etsy, and then I did all of the watercolor portraits that came through Etsy. It was actually 11. I miscounted one, so there were actually 11 commissions sold. One was a house painting. So this one, the top one came through my Facebook. It's an old friend from high school. This is actually a painting of where we grew up. It's cropped a little bit also. It's called the Allura Gorge. And then the bottom one is just sort of a make-believe island. It's inspired by my time in the Muskokas, but it also kind of looks like BC. It's kind of like everywhere Canada. And the client that bought this one, it was actually a commission, but they bought it via Etsy, and they do a lot of kayaking, etc. So yeah, this one really resonates with people who love the outdoors, which is why I painted it, because I love the outdoors. And then pet portraits, obviously in acrylic. And then I also did, on top of that, 28 3D visualization projects. So I do a lot of work for skate parks and also housing developments. So these are sort of some of the works that I did throughout the year, and I did 28 projects for those. So that was a lot of fun. I hope to get more in the new year. I also started teaching in-person art classes. I met this fabulous lady named Madeline that runs this cute little studio in Vancouver called Luminous Elephant. And so I started teaching in-person classes and also doing these live events. So basically this one was painted by 300 people, the bottom one with the avocado. It's a long story, but basically I came up with the concept for the piece based on the interests of the clients. And then I sketched it out and then did all the colors at the event and then invited people to just put paint on there. It turned out super amazing, actually. I was surprised, and it was so much fun. And then I also started teaching floral painting, loose floral painting from life at her studio. And yeah, I hope to do a lot more of that in the coming year. It was so much fun, honestly. And then I also work 4 days a week at an art store. I am essentially a sales person or cashier, but honestly, the job requires a lot more than that. I'm basically an art consultant. Clients come in all the time and they want to know how to do a project that they want to work on. So usually they'll have like a concept that they want to do and they have no idea how to do it. So they'll come in looking for supplies. And in the meantime, I end up having to give them all kinds of advice on how to get this project done. So yeah, that's actually like a really fun job. I was actually a cashier, but partway through the year in September, they made me into a supervisor, which is really cool. And I really appreciated them seeing my talents. And I love our clients, and I just have so much fun meeting people in the community and helping clients with their projects and helping them understand the different art products and how to use them and how to mix them and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's really fun, and I'm going to keep doing that in the new year. I also moved, so I got a new home studio, and it's been great. So here's a bunch of my paintings in the works on the wall. This was actually, a lot of these have sold. So the top 3, the triptych has sold, the little fox is sold. The arbutus tree is still in the works. Unfortunately, I got kind of sidelined with that, but its sister painting sold. And then the 2 whales I actually just finished, and they're now hanging in the tipper. And then the other 2, the portraits, are in my personal collection there. So yeah, that's been my year in a little nutshell. I think it's actually gone fairly well. I'm just like, next year I'm going to be focusing on getting my work out there more and maybe focusing more in sales. I hired a marketing coach, I would say, a marketing coach. She's sort of helping me through the process of understanding how to market my work without being weird and salesy. And I'm not actually, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not super comfortable on social media. I'm quite private, actually. So she's sort of helping me come up with content in a way that feels authentic for me, so I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to do things that I'm not super comfortable with. Yeah, and then what else? So trying to get out there more, a few more sales, trying to get comfortable with social media. I'm going to hopefully be filming more tutorials for you guys if I can get over the little technical hiccups that I run into. And that's pretty much it. So this has become a little bit rambly, but I hope you got something out of it. And I would love to hear how your year went in the comments and if you have any awesome goals for the new year. And I wish you guys the best and the most creative, fun time ever. Bye.